Hey story lovers. If you're into mystery, suspense, and unexpected twists, you're in the right place. Hit subscribe, relax, and let's dive into today's story. New York City pulsed with a rhythm Maya Ilera had never quite gotten used to. It was fast, unforgiving, and glittered with luxury she could barely afford to dream of. Her sneakers slapped against the rain-soaked sidewalk as she rushed toward Kingston International, the sleek skyscraper piercing the sky, like a reminder that power belonged only to the few who could afford it. It was her first day as a janitor, and she was already late. With a tray of coffee cups in one hand and a stack of files in the other, picked up for an intern too nervous to enter the elevator, Maya was juggling far more than caffeine. She slipped inside just before the doors closed, and with her heart pounding, she breathed a sigh of relief. That's when she noticed the man standing beside her. Tall, impeccably dressed, unapproachably cold. Alec Kingston. The youngest billionaire CEO in the city. Her boss's boss's boss, and the reason people on the executive floor walked like they were afraid to breathe too loudly. The elevator jerked suddenly. Maya lost balance. The tray slipped from her hands, hot coffee flying through the air, right onto Alec's expensive gray suit. Oh no, she gasped, scrambling to grab tissues from her bag. Alec stared at the mess, then slowly turned toward her, eyes like ice. I'm so sorry, Maya stammered. He didn't say a word at first. Just looked at her, as though she were dirt beneath his shoe. Do you work here? He asked coldly. She nodded. Just started. Janitorial. Then this is already your last day. The words hit harder than the coffee spill. But Maya didn't cry. She didn't beg. Instead, she looked him straight in the eye and said, then maybe don't stand where coffee wants to go. A flicker of something crossed his face, surprise? Amusement? But it was gone in a second. The elevator doors opened. He stepped out without another word. Later that night, Alec watched the security footage again. He paused on the frame where Maya, kneeling on the floor, muttered, "Some people can't afford to fall." And for the first time in months, he didn't think about numbers, power, or business. He thought about a girl who looked at him like he wasn't untouchable. Alec had a rule: don't get distracted. But somehow, ever since that elevator encounter, his eyes sought her out. On the executive floor where she now cleaned, Maya moved with quiet determination. She greeted everyone with respect, but not fear. Not even him. When he passed by, she didn't flinch like the others. When he barked orders, she arched an eyebrow. When he threw tantrums, she rolled her eyes when she thought he wasn't looking. He noticed everything. One afternoon, he overheard Maya defending an intern he'd nearly fired. The girl had made a small mistake, and Alec had been ready to shred her confidence. But Maya stepped in, firm but calm. You scare people, but that doesn't make you right, she told him. That was the final push. He called her into his office the next day. You think you know how to run this company better than I do? He asked. No, she said. But I know fear doesn't build loyalty. He stared at her. I'm offering you a new position, he said. My assistant. The last one quit. I don't want your charity, she snapped. It's not charity. It's strategy. I clean floors, she said, turning. Not egos. But 2 weeks later, her world changed. Her father collapsed. Diagnosed with a failing heart. The hospital needed a $20,000 deposit. She had less than $400 to her name. She returned to Alec's office with trembling hands. I'll take the job. He said nothing. Just slid a new contract across the table. From that moment on, they entered each other's orbit, like two planets forced to share the same sun. The new role brought Maya closer to Alec, both professionally and emotionally. She sat outside his glass office, scheduled meetings, answered calls, managed chaos. But more than that, she became his anchor. When he forgot lunch, she slid a sandwich on his desk. When he lost his temper, she reminded him he was human. They argued often. About his decisions. About people. About what mattered. And in those arguments, something unexpected bloomed. One evening, she stayed late, organizing files for a merger pitch. Alec emerged from his office, exhausted. You're still here. So are you, she replied. He walked her to the elevator. They waited in silence. You never told me what your father does, he said suddenly. She smiled sadly. Sells fruit. Or did. Until his heart gave up. The elevator pinged. They stepped in. You think I'm a bad person, don't you? He asked. I think you're a scared person pretending to be powerful. Silence. Rain fell hard as they exited the building. She refused his town car. People already stare. But you're freezing, he said. Better cold than kept. Still, he handed her his coat. She didn't return it. They were in the middle of a heated argument about a charity gala when it happened. The press snapped a photo of Alec leaning toward her, his hand brushing hers. The angle, the lighting, it screamed intimacy. By morning, headlines spread like wildfire. CEO's assistant more than she seems? From janitor to mistress? The board exploded. Shareholders demanded action. You want to lose your empire over a cleaning girl? One investor barked. Alec went quiet. Later that night, he visited Maya. It's not safe anymore, he said. For you. So you're firing me? I'm protecting you. You don't get to decide what I need. I'm asking you to go. She looked at him for a long time. Then nodded. She walked away without crying. And he stood there, holding the pieces of something he didn't know he'd built. Days turned to weeks. Alec buried himself in work. Deals collapsed. Morale dropped. He stopped attending meetings. He felt hollow. Then he saw the flyer. Community night, featuring Maya Ilera, inner-city empowerment event. He went. She stood on a small stage in a modest community center, surrounded by young women with eyes full of hunger and hope. I used to think I didn't belong anywhere, Maya said. But then I realized, no one gets to tell you what you're worth. Not your title. Not your paycheck. Not even a CEO. Laughter. Applause. Alec waited until it ended. She saw him in the hallway, standing in shadows. You're not supposed to be here, she said. I needed to be. He stepped closer. I was wrong. You weren't my weakness. You're the only thing that ever made me strong. She was silent. I want to start over. With you. No lies. No power plays. Just me. Finally, she smiled. Then take off that tie, Alec Kingston. And let's talk. A year later, the new Ilera Foundation opened its doors, inside Kingston International. A space for girls like Maya. For stories like hers. And Alec? He stood beside her, no longer just a CEO. But a man finally worth loving.